Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Before I get into today's video, let me quickly send a shout out to my man Clifton, who lives in upstate South Carolina. He subscribed to the channel because he is a Clemson Tiger football fan. And I told him that this is not a Clemson channel, but we do discuss Clemson when we talk college football, but we don't talk just Clemson. But I'm always happy to have as many Clemson fans on board to the channel as I can get. So Clifton, thank you so much for subscribing. Welcome aboard, and I hope you enjoy today's video because we're going to be talking college football coming up here in a few minutes. I want to quickly get to a few news and notes in the NFL world. I know it's only 2 weeks in, but it's never too early to start discussing football. 2 weeks into the season, the best overall team right now, in my opinion, is the Rams. Now, the best defense so far is the Panthers. We all know how dominant the Saints offense usually is, and the Panthers defense shut the Saints down this past Sunday. So the best defense is the Panthers, but they don't have the offense the Rams have. So far, the best overall team through 2 weeks is the Rams. Best defense is the Panthers. The worst team, it's a four-way tie. Both New York teams, along with the Falcons and the Jaguars, those four teams are awful. If they played in a pod where they all four played each other, they would probably all beat each other the same amount of times because they're both equally awful. But the Falcons' main problem is the Falcons have to decide what they want to be when they grow up. And what I mean by that is when Arthur Smith took the head coaching job, he said, "We're here to win. We're here to win now." But then if you've watched any of the Falcons' first two games, which if you have, I feel sorry for you because you may be entitled to some kind of compensation if you're watching the Falcons games right now. But if you've watched any of the Falcons' first two games at least 10 times in each game, and it's been different announced teams, both games, but at least 10 times in both broadcasts, the announcers have said the Falcons are in a rebuilding mode. So here you are with the announcers thinking you're rebuilding, which they got that from somewhere. They didn't just make that up. So obviously you've got half the Falcons people saying they're in a rebuilding mode and half the Falcons people, including the coach, saying they're here to win and win now. Well, you can't be half wanting to rebuild and half wanting to win now, because what that's going to lead to is confusion, which leads to you continuously sucking. So you have to decide, do you want to rebuild for a year or two, or do you want to win and win now? Because everybody thought Dan Quinn was the problem, but through the first 2 weeks, it looks like Dan Quinn was not the problem. The Falcons are just a hot pile of garbage. But if you are going to rebuild, you should have drafted a quarterback and either released Matt Ryan or drafted a quarterback and benched Matt Ryan. But instead, you drafted Kyle Pitts, who is a phenomenal player, but Matt Ryan's past his prime. So if you're going to draft Kyle Pitts and you've still got Matt Ryan, what good does it do you to draft Kyle Pitts? The Falcons have had pretty good backup quarterbacks the last few years, but now they've got Josh Rosen. And if your backup quarterback is Josh Rosen, you may as well just stick with Matt Ryan. Even a washed-up, past his prime Matt Ryan is better than Josh Rosen. So if the Falcons decide what they want to be, do they want to rebuild or do they want to win, it'll probably help them out a little bit, but they're still going to suck. And then I'll go ahead and say this now. We know if we follow the Cowboys that Jerry Jones loves to fire coaches every few years. And that's why everybody was surprised at how long Jason Garrett lasted. So I'm not saying Mike McCarthy will get fired, but I'm saying if Mike McCarthy does get fired, Kellen Moore will be their next head coach. If Mike McCarthy does not get fired, then don't be surprised to see Kellen Moore leave and go take a head coaching job, whether it's somewhere in the NFL or in college. Kellen Moore is doing some great things with their offense. And Pollard right now is a much better running back for the Cowboys than Elliott. I don't care which one has the bigger name. where they played in college, who was better in college. If you just watch those two running backs, it's clear that Pollard is a better running back right now than Ezekiel Elliott. But with the things Moore's doing with the Cowboys offense, if their defense can do anything at all, they're actually going to have a pretty good season. Not a Super Bowl, but a good season, which is something the Cowboys have not had in a long time. If you recall, they've only got one playoff win in 25 years. Now, Justin Fields is starting this Sunday for the Bears. He's only starting because Andy Dalton got hurt this past week, and the Bears have not said yet how long Dalton's going to be out. But we'll have to wait and see when he is cleared to return. Does he get his job back, or does Justin Fields keep the job? I guess it all depends on how good Fields does while Dalton is out. And Jarvis Landry has an sprained MCL for the Cleveland Browns. He is their wide receiver, so he is going to be out for at least 3 weeks. And the reason why I bring that up is because that's the exact injury I have. And I know why he's going to be out for a minimum of 3 weeks, because I'm 2 weeks in and I've still got a long way to go. So Jarvis, my man, I know how you feel. I'm right there with you. NFL Week 3 kicks off tonight. The Thursday night football game is the Panthers and the Texans. And, of course, the Texans are still not going to play Deshaun Watson. Tyrod Taylor got hurt this past Sunday. They're going to be starting a rookie from Stanford named Davis Mills. And Deshaun Watson is still inactive, so if by some chance Mills gets hurt, I have no idea who else the Texans have to play quarterback for them. So you might want to watch that game tonight just to see what happens. College football, of course, Week 4 kicks off tonight with Marshall against Appalachian State. Appalachian State's one of those teams that's always so good but never gets talked about. Their quarterback right now is Chase Bryce, who used to back up Trevor Lawrence at Clemson. He transferred, played last year at Duke, transferred again. Now he's the quarterback for Appalachian State. And then tomorrow night, we've actually got some good games in the world of college football for a Friday night. We've got Middle Tennessee State going up against the 49ers of Charlotte. And Wake Forest is going against Virginia. And if you've been following college football, you know Wake Forest is going for a 4-0 start. And if you watched my Wake Forest preview back around June, I believe it was, maybe July, I said I thought Wake Forest had a pretty good chance to be a pretty good team this year. But so far, the way they're playing, they might be even better than I expected as they go up against the Cavaliers of Virginia tomorrow night. And we also have Liberty and Syracuse tomorrow night, and UNLV and Fresno State tomorrow night. And we'll talk more about the Saturday games in our video that is coming up on Saturday. But as far as Clemson goes, if you have not heard yet, and I'm sure you have, one of their best defensive players, Tyler Davis, is hurt. He's going to be out for 7 or 8 weeks. Of course, they've already lost one of their defensive backs, Landon Zanders, for the year. Now Tyler Davis is out 7 to 8 weeks. And Lynn J. Dixon announced he was transferring. That announcement came out, I believe it was on Monday. I'm not surprised. I'm really not. Now, I don't know if this is why he's transferring. I'm just giving my opinion. But I may be crazy, and I may be right. If you've been watching the channel, you know right after Cam Newton got cut by the Patriots, I said one of the reasons why I thought he got cut was because he was going to be a distraction in the locker room. Well, about 3 weeks ago, Cam Newton did an interview. In the interview, Cam Newton said, they cut me because I was going to be a distraction in the locker room. And I just said that, making an opinion, just making an educated guess. So I'm going to do it again here. I believe the reason why Lynn J. Dixon is transferring is because he's been there since 2018. He's been the backup behind Travis Etienne, which everybody knows that not only was Etienne the best running back Clemson's ever had, he's, in my personal opinion, top 10, if not top 5 all time in college football running back. So, of course, Lynn J. Dixon was going to back up Travis Etienne. Excuse me, but everybody thought that this year Dixon would take over the running back role. And I even said a month or so ago that I thought going into the Georgia game he'd be the starter, but I thought over time he would lose that position because, in my opinion, Kobe Pace and Will Shipley and Phil Maffa, whenever Maffa starts playing, all three of those are better than Lynn J. Dixon. But I thought that Lynn J. would at least start the Georgia game as the starting running back. He didn't. Well, I believe it was after week 2, Dabo Swinney came out and said that Lynn J. Dixon has to grow up. So in my personal opinion, I think he just thought that since he's been backing up Travis for 3 years, it was finally his time to shine. He was going to be the starter, and he didn't work for it. He just thought, hey, it's my position, it's my job, I'm ready to go. And he didn't work for it. So then he lost the starting job. And then when he went to C.J. Spiller and Dabo Swinney, I think C.J. Spiller told him, you don't just get the job because you're a senior. You've got to work for it. And Lynn J. didn't like that. And he's gone now. But now he is a really good running back, but he's not as good as ETN, and he's not as good as Maffa or Shipley or Pace. But he is a good running back. There's an early rumor that's saying he'll go to LSU, but of course he just now, 3 days ago, announced he was transferring, so there's no way to know right now where he's going, but he may end up going there. And he would fit the system LSU runs if Ed Orgeron is still their coach come next year and they make no changes. We'll have to wait and see about that as well. But I'm excited about week 4 getting underway. Clemson's actually a 10-point favorite over NC State right now, which is strange, as bad as their offense has looked. I guess it's because they're the only team in FBS who has not given up a touchdown yet. Will that streak continue, or will it come to an end? We'll have to wait and find out. Eventually, even if it doesn't come to an end this Saturday, it's going to come to an end sometime or another. But like I said, we'll talk more about all the games on Saturday when Saturday gets here. I just wanted to talk about the games coming up tonight and the games coming up tomorrow night, and we'll talk about Saturday's games when Saturday gets here. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Have you ever tried archery blindfolded? You don't know what you're missing. And that wraps it up for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.